Okay, had to send out all of the notifications. Fortunately, I got this started a little bit later than I was intending to. Oh, there's my alarm to tell me that it's starting. So, I'm just gonna go over the teams real quick before anyone actually streams in. So, this is Rebel Season 4's first week of playoffs. This will be the first playoff game that I'm aware of being covered. And then after this, we will go over the replay of a game that was played but no one cast. So for this, we have the First Division play-ins, which is the top fresh teams. These are the top of each division, of each conference, and the winners get to go into the actual playoffs. So, for our first team, we have Hero Tiscara playing the Naggarond Nightmares, Dark Elves. Block plus Move Witch, Wrestle Witch, a Fresh Blitzer. He might random this, but I would assume not. Blodge Step Blitzer, Dive and Tackle Blitzer, and then a minus move Blodge Frenzy piece. A runner that could random for a general skill to try to pick up like block or something, but probably not worth it. Strip, Dauntless, Block, Dark Elf, and those, I think, are random skills, if I remember the numbers correctly. Oh, did I forget to add the stream link? I've typed up way too many. Yeah, I typed up like 4 different announcements. But yeah. So, Dauntless Pro 2 MNGs because the play-ins do not get their MNGs back, as my understanding. I believe they are live now. Yes, so we will go over the Dwarf team in game. So, 11 players for our Dark Elves with a Loner. 11 players for our Dwarves with no Loner. We have a Mighty Blow Troll Slayer, Fresh Blitzer, a plus move block runner, Mighty Blow lineman, a Mighty Blow Juggernaut Troll Slayer, Guard Armbar for the blockers, Guard Blocker, Fresh Lineman. This Blitzer has Diving Tackle, which is an interesting choice. Possibly picked up for this very game, I'm not sure. And then a minus passing blocker with Armbar and Guard. Some interesting pickups here for those Dwarf Buggers from Warhawk. Be interested to know if he had picked those up before now, or if he had picked them up for this specific game. Free rerolls for our dwarves, 2 for our dark elves, Apo on each side. Were there any inducements? I'm not seeing any. Cheering fans, resulting in a draw, so nothing changes. Our dwarves are our first offense and a KO off the very first block. Yep, and we're just starting off with our Mighty Blow of Frenzy hits. Could push them down the line. When they're getting knocked down, he's opting to not push them down the line. And looks like a Frenzy hit on the Diving Tackle Blitzer, or a Mighty Blow hit rather. Just doesn't want to deal with oh. That's probably a misclick. That's unfortunate. I'm assuming that is a misclick, and he just did not see this line elf, or clicked in the wrong square. So that gives up a 3 block here, and probably a real easy blitz into this Troll Slayer. And doesn't look like... oh! He can get to the ball. He can't do anything with it once he gets there. But it's possible we'll see Hero bust his way through and just make it annoying to pick up the ball. And with the relative lack in movement for most of the Dwarf team, that could be a problem. Hero's just weighing his options. Not a knockdown, which is sort of unfortunate, really. And then a 1 on the dodge. So Hero not really able to capitalize on that mistake. But at the same time, he didn't really lose anything. And it's arguable that for the Dwarves, losing that turn is really bad still. Even with a movement 7 runner. However, I mean, that's not, you know, the end of the world. Just taking blocks down the line for the moment. Interesting to me that he's taking the POWs and moving forward. I guess it was because this is a guard piece. I feel like I reflexively would take the both down, just to lock the piece in place for future blocks. But I suppose Werehawk is prioritizing moving the guard pieces forward onto multiple players. Yep, and blitz in on his blitzer finally. Gets the Mighty Blow hit, knocks him down. Nothing. So now the Dwarves just forming the meat wall. Yeah, and just building the cage behind it just to be sure. Because we do have some fairly tricky plus movements back here. Be interesting to see where Hero decides to engage and where he decides to just leave. I mean, that blitz right there just tells me automatically that he's just disengaging as much as possible. Because theoretically, if you just added an extra player here, like here or here, this guy could take the block. But that leaves him in base contact with a Dwarf. So Hero's just opting to completely disengage from this wall. Which I'm not sure I disagree with, but... possibly could try to foul, but the piece I'd foul with is a bit far away, and this piece is stunned. And now now just disengaging all the down pieces, forming the classic elf screen. And this rinse and repeat is going to be largely what we see for the next 6 or 7 turns. The classic interplay of dwarves can't actually pin down the dark elves until they fail a dodge. But it should be noted, with armbar, failing a dodge applies Mighty Blow. So eventually, these dark elves are gonna roll a double 1, and they're gonna take a Mighty Blow hit for it. Blitzing in, opting not to frenzy into the sidestep piece. All these hits are frenzy traps. Sidestep going forward. Doesn't break. Now how... The important bit is going to be how Werehawk decides to move forward and where he thinks is a safe place to cage. And looks like he's taking no risks. He's just going to make a full 4-square cage here. Frenzy player off to the side in case the Dark Elves decide to start controlling this space. So the question becomes for Hero is how are you going to approach this in a way that allows you to actually do something? So without a guard piece of his own, this is kind of an intimidating wall. Yes, the Dwarf versus Dark Elf gameplay. Very exciting for the first few turns. Well, already, we're putting a Dark Elf around back behind the cage, just limiting where the Dwarves can go and what pieces can move. We might see some 1-die hits here. Possibly a blitz into this Mighty Blow lineman, then just some 1-die hits to try to move these guard pieces back. Not blitzing with the block piece, so the only block pieces remaining are the Witch Elves, and surely you're not trying to follow in. Okay. We're dodging in. We're dodging in past diving tackle, which is bold. Making that a 6+ dive. Diving tackle into 2 squares for -4. That was an interesting decision. And that failure is going to leave the Dark Elves in a really awkward spot. Because all these dwarves are going to get hits. Hero perhaps missing the diving tackle, because why would you look for diving tackle on dwarves? Again, Warecasters pushes, very conservative. I perhaps would have opted to push this guy further forward and cut people off, but Warecaster just being slow, conservative, very safe moves of, I'm just going to move this wall forward a couple squares a turn, and eventually you're going to break or not be in my way anymore. No knockdown on the sidestep piece. Opts to just go back in front of the dwarves. Question becomes, how aggressive are you going to try to take this? Is there a surf option? Nah, the dwarves aren't fast enough for that. The only player that could get to this square would be the one that would have to be the surfer. Werehawk biting into his reserve time. That we've seen in previous playoffs where biting into your reserve time early on can really bring it down to the wire. And with dwarves being a slow, methodical gameplay, I don't know, that could maybe hurt him. Bit of a base cage. They are 3 wide guard, so the most he'll get is a 1-die that cuts off the space. Interesting. Opts not to re-roll it. Input lag is a thing. Hero is losing a bit of position now. Has to dodge all these pieces off if he doesn't want to take 1-die hits. And even if you take some 1-die hits, you're not stopping the dwarves from just punching you back. So now Hero's just gonna have to probably have to scramble in order to get something in front of the dwarves. There are options to be aggressive here. Maybe he could generate a hit of some kind into here, push the runner out, but there's so much guard here, it's kind of difficult to generate those hits. Trying to knock down the diving tackle to free up the jump. Follow into this to pin these 2 linemen here, and possibly slow down the blitzer. We get a jump up hit. Cracking open the cage corner. Gets a stun. So now there is a Witch Elf marking the ball, and almost all the dwarf players are marked. But the problem is, the Dark Elves are now playing the dwarves game, and that is potentially very, very dangerous. Doesn't really help here. Oh, that's a 1-die. Does he re-roll that? No. Opts not to. Last action of the turn. Does KO himself, though. We're now 2 Dark Elves down. We're now 2 Dark Elves down going into a turn with several elves marked. This could potentially be an extremely dangerous turn. Mind you, Hero only has 1 reroll remaining, so he couldn't really afford to reroll that one. Mighty Blow knocks down on the Witch Elf. Uh-oh. And that's an injury. That's seriously hurt. Does that pull out the Apo? Apple fails. So that Witch Elf will not be playing in either this game or the next. But I imagine Hero cares much more about the next game, or about this game. The first reroll, Hero only has 2 rostered rerolls. So the only other reroll used, I believe, was on the dive into the cage, which was through diving tackle and thus was like a 6+ dodge. I'm just realizing I forgot to change my stream title. Do. I am the dumb. What about this title is... Everything about these players' names seem to conflict with Twitch moderation policy. Okay, even not having team names in there conflicts with Twitch moderation policy. I don't know what's going on with the title. So, we're now down 4 Dark Elves. Oh no! Right now I'm trying to change the title to Rebel Season 4 Play-Ins, and I'm being told it may conflict with Twitch's moderation policy. I don't know what's going on. I just cannot change my title anymore. Thanks, Twitch. Even just Season 4 play-ins. Does it not like play-ins? No. There is apparently no combination of words that it will allow me to change the stream title. I might have to go into Twitch itself. Stream Manager. How do I change my title in... No, it won't let me change it in... Yeah, it just will not let me change the title even through Twitch. And I'm comfortable talking about that and trying to change the title instead of the game, because there is not much to do right now. There's 4 elves off. The elves are not in the way of the dwarves. I was about to say we probably will see a surf here. We're just seeing the dwarves just box in as many dark elves as possible. No knockdown on this hit, but still, that dark elf is kind of stuck. And we're seeing some of these dark elves that are caged in. Those 3+2+s are kind of dangerous because of armbar. Blitz to get this player standing. Knocks a dwarf away from another elf. But I think we might just see Hero disengage and let this drive in. Nope, he's going aggressive. He is standing up players and generating hits. I suppose he is looking at it as the dwarves can't afford to pull very many players back to generate hits back here, just because you need that full cage, and these players need to be here blocking these guys in. So, don't hate this. Jump up hit, gets the knockdown. But unfortunately, he is not really able to get in front of these doors. Their cage is just gonna pile through. Opting to take hits in the back. I feel like the hits back here are secondary to moving this forward. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the runner is in scoring range. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's another injured dark elf. Which one was that? That was the sidestep blodge butcher. That's a bit of an important piece to lose. I feel like Werehawk should just blitz here and move the cage further down personally before doing any of this, but Werehawk is the one in play-ins and I am not. Blitzing with the ball. That is kind of surprising. Both because that's dangerous and the fact that there's a Mighty Blow piece right here. Not entirely sure why that was necessary, but it's what happened. Are we forming a based cage? I mean, it's with guard, but still. I question this. Like, sure, there's guard here, but this is like a 1-die into a 1-die to open up the cage. And that just feels unnecessary to me. He's mostly fixed it, but I think this Dark Elf can get around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go for it, go for it. So 3 2+s to cancel this assist. Cancel these two, which makes this a 1-die, which follows into a red, which is bad. But that moves this guard off, which means this is a 1-die. That puts the guard here, which opens up a square here to potentially have a 1-die hit on the runner. Now that's a lot of dice, but I would argue Werehawk was in a position to where his opponent having any dice play to get at the ball was unnecessary. But that's just me. Hero weighing his options. Tying up the front end of the cage. Knocks down this dwarf. Gets a stun. What is the play here? Are we going to see another dive at the ball? Nope, we are just blitzing this guy. Knocks him down, does cancel this assist, so we can see the one die into a one die, into the red die, surf trap, into one die, mark the ball. Which I'm not sure really does anything, because it's just remove the player standing here, and then you can just walk in. It is forcing dice at least, but I feel like I might just, the Witch Elf lives, but now Warhawk can just walk in. Which I hope is what we see. No! Warhawk, please. You're in a commanding position. Please don't. Okay. This is, even with a reroll, this is a risk I would not take. Gets the knockdown here. It doesn't have Mighty Blow. These two hits have Mighty Blow. I guess it's freeing up these two players to mark here and here. Knockdown with Mighty Blow on the runner. It is the lowest AV value on the team outside of the Witch Elves. Interesting position thing there. Taking a lot of hits here. We appear to be playing for development in play-ins. Another KO. There are now 7 Dark Elves removed. All but one of those KOs comes back. Is it the one that he KO'd, the one that stayed out? No. So, we'll now see if Hero can work a one turn into this. It's movement 8, so he needs 3 squares. He has Frenzy. Eight players. Unsure if that's enough players, even with the Frenzy. I forget the exact numbers. Just taking a moment to play around with the stream title while we are setting up. Yeah. Going wide. Not really sure that that makes, well, actually it does make a difference because it's cutting off a square beside the piece you want to hit to help activate Frenzy, which means the Frenzy piece has to be going straight down. Not sure that really cuts in more movement when you could just hit the pieces on the side. Okay, so for those wondering, yes, you cannot use the word buggers in the stream title. And if you try to update your stream title, and then get told that that would violate the Twitch guidelines, it then locks you out from updating your stream title for a certain period of time. So my stream title is now correct. It's a very silly system. We do see Hero seems to be lining up for one turn, but I'm not sure who he's blitzing with. He might be blitzing here, but in which case, why are you starting in this square and not this square? Not entirely sure I understand what I'm looking at. Hero perhaps lining up for the one turn and then deciding that because his other frenzy piece is injured, he just doesn't have enough movement, which I'm not sure he has the ability to generate 3 pushes with this many players. Oh. Fails to dodge through. So, KO stays out, so we're now going into Hero's offensive drive with still 11 players for the Dwarves and their Apo. The Dark Elves, however, have used their Apo. They are down 3 players, including a Wrestle Witch Elf, the Blodge Step Blitzer, and a Fresh Blitzer. Now we'll see how Hero handles this disparity in numbers. It's not necessarily the numbers that he's down that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about the quality players being the ones removed. If it was 3 linemen, I would be a bit less concerned. But losing these players, those are the ones you don't want to be missing. Especially because Hero is going to have to is more than likely going to have to try to turn over Warhawk during this inning. Like, you don't want to be going into overtime. Overtime in Rebel format is, of course, golden goal, if I remember correctly. Ball goes deep. Ball goes very deep. Not the end of the world, because this is a runner. But a one on this pickup forces a reroll. He does pick up a team reroll off of the kickoff event, though, which is nice. Knockdown on our opening blitz. Probably just gonna dodge off of this 3 here. Yeah, he's going straight for that 2-turn. Which does make this a little awkward. 6-7. So that's an 8 square pass. Oh, we're moving up the plus move Witch Elf first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go for it, go for it. So this Witch Elf is in range with GFIs. So perhaps we're just picking up the ball and we will pass to whichever Dark Elf is open next turn. Because it's not like the Dwarves are gonna get down here and actually pressure you or prevent you from being able to pass anywhere. Uh-oh. That is more than likely gonna force the reroll. Opts not to. Doesn't scatter out. There's a 3 in 8 chance that it scatters out, and then the ball goes somewhere just random. But perhaps Hero is thinking that committing that reroll and playing the safe Blood Bowl is not going to win him this game. And there's another KO. So we are now 5 Dark Elves. No, I can count 4 out for this drive. I'm assuming we're gonna see these players get marked, and we're gonna like blitz in here, mark this Dark Elf, and have Dwarves in the pass path, just to give an opportunity for an intercept. Maybe would have moved these 2 elves farther over this way, just because it's giving an opportunity for like this guy to come back into the play. What is the rush for? There's got to be a reason for that rush, and I'm not entirely sure I understand what he's accomplishing with those tackle zones there. I mean, he's cutting off this. Another KO. This is increasingly dire. He's cutting off like this Dark Elf, but I would argue he was kind of cut off before. Are we going to be able to mark the pass recipient, though? Doesn't look like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can get in her way, but it doesn't look like we can mark her. And it doesn't look like we can be really... I guess this guy has the intercept chance. I feel like we could have made this harder, but this is already not an easy play. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 square pass, assuming no GFIs. I'm almost certain that this dwarf gets an intercept chance regardless of where the position is, unless you blitz it. And it's going to be like a one die blitz, assuming you don't add a 2+. Arguably the 2+ into the 2. No, it'd have to be 2 2+s if I'm looking. We're going the opposite direction. Interesting. Can we mark this dwarf? We can double GFI to mark this Troll Slayer. This is a lineman. So we could get... If we get, like, over here, we're kind of, like, screening out this lineman just by existing here. Hero, just completely about how it faces. Perhaps this was his plan the whole time, but seeing how heavily Werecaster has committed to this side, has opted to just go the complete opposite direction. Perhaps that's why these linemen were here to begin with. Yep. Puts himself to this square instead of the next square over, because this is a 4+ dodge to try, and it's a 4+ to 1/1 into surf. Uh-oh. That's probably a reroll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go for it. Still one more GFI needed, but that does put this piece almost safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go for it, go for it. So he is going to get hit. So maybe he should have gone one more square to the right and risked the 4+? We have failed the 4 plus, 2 plus. Now it just comes down to the dice. The problem is that this is a plus move runner, but once we move this Dark Elf out of the way, I mean, this guy could mark. Christy, yes, this is overtime format, but also, if Hero doesn't score in the next turn or two, he's not getting to overtime to begin with. Especially because he is currently 5 elves down. He is forcing a bunch of dice out here. So maybe Werehog will fill something here. Makes it past the blocks. Which does open the path. The problem is, because he moved this lineman, there's no way to make this a 2-die block. So it's now just a 1-die. I feel like either this blitzer or this blitzer should have been marking this Dark Elf to make this a 2-die, and you move this guy afterwards to make this a 2-die block. It does make it 4 GFIs, but it is almost certainly better. Right, moving a bunch of dwarfs over to generally menace. It is unlikely that Hero would try to stall into overtime anyway, simply because he's going to lose that bash war. Here comes the double GFI 1-die. It's a skull. That's almost certainly a reroll there. Into a skull! Runner does survive, but importantly, this Dark Elf does not go down. It is now 1-2 plus to tie this game. That's a really big deal. Hero observing his options, which are almost none. I probably should just take your GFI, because I don't see how you improve this position better. Oh, standing up pieces, just in case. Makes a dodge. Was gonna generate a punch. It's a bit risky, but at the same time, playing safe normal Blood Bowl is not gonna win him this game, so I can understand why he's doing this. In the last drive, I was shouting at Warcaster for taking blocks before scoring, because playing safe normal Blood Bowl would win him the game from his position. Hero, on the other hand, is not going to win this game with 7 pieces against a full Dwarven team playing safe Blood Bowl. So he was trying to generate a removal with a risky block. So I can understand why he would do that, because there is a difference between those two scenarios. I'm not sure I'm that bold in a play-in game, personally, but I can understand why he decided to do it. We have 5 turns remaining. 6 if we're going from the direction of Werehog. We're going into Drive 2 with 2 rerolls to Hero Sutara and 2 rerolls to Werehog. Apo is used for Hero, and he's on 7 players. He's down 2 Blitzers and a Witch Elf. What is our kickoff event? Our kickoff event is a Quick Snap. So these dwarves will probably get a little bit closer to the ball, and not much else, just because everyone else is at base contact. I would probably move this Blitzer back towards the ball, just because the only way Hero wins this is to YOLO at the ball at some point. Opening with our Mighty Blow hits. Warecaster is still not opting to push in to his team when he knocks down. Which I feel like I would be doing that just because of how easy it is to trap these places. Uh-oh. That is another Dark Elf gone. We are now at 6 Dark Elves on the pitch. Okay. This is bullying now. We have 5 Dark Elves on the pitch. This is very quickly becoming insurmountable. I would probably take this unskilled lineman and I would foul this piece. Possibly fouling this blitzer depending on what the blitz result is. Gets the knockdown because all dwarf linemen have tackle. And luckily these manual skills no longer crash the game. He lives! It's a small miracle. Now the question is, do you hit this piece because it has skills, or do you hit this runner because it has lower armor and you're more likely to remove it? I feel like I would be punching the runner. But at the same time, I'm not sure it really matters. I still think you foul. Just remove his players. If he runs out of players, he can't do anything to you. Opting to try to protect this Troll Slayer, which, fair enough. Just taking as much space with his front line as he can. Yeah, we get a knockdown with his blitz, and... uh-oh. Just as done. Like, how do you get in the way with 4 players alive? Hero opting for the classic I screen. Make that a T screen. It's a testament to his determination that he's willing to get in the dwarves' way while only having 5 players on the pitch. Interesting that Werehawk is not opting to hit with the Frenzy piece for follow-ups. Especially because I'm pretty sure this dwarf blocker has already leveled. Can you cover that? Yeah. Yeah, he can fix that. Okay. We'll probably just see all these dwarves mark up pieces and call it a turn. Not trying to trap this lineman in place. You place it here and it has to 3+2+ anywhere it goes. Oh, no, we're just putting the diving tackle beside it. Never mind. Opting to completely trap this piece instead of mostly trap it. This is probably where we see the YOLO dive. Yep. Makes it in. No knockdown. Rerolls it just to push, so this is going to be into a red die. Yep, that's unfortunate. Probably reroll that. Nope. And that was kind of the only option Hero had to be fair. So now we'll probably just see a bunch of Mighty Blow hits. Yep, I will hit into the runner. I feel like this is a block you could have done last. Fears I would not be admitting to that war crime. Uh-oh. Gets a push out of that, so he does get the follow-up hit. Opting to push into where... Uh-oh. That's the last reroll used. Doesn't get the knockdown. This is potentially dangerous territory with these rerolls used. Perhaps we'll be moving the ball first. And completing this cage. Hopefully. Thank you. Fears giving us evidence for a potential D-bad violation in the chat right now. Trying to convince everyone to reroll the dwarves. Get the knockdown there. Are we gonna opt for this hit into the blitzer here? Yes. Yes, we are. And we knock him down. So there are now no standing Dark Elves. Actually cutting off the dive path of the Witch Elf here. Hero still trying to get players in front of this wave of doors. Hero, stay down. You're already dead. Are we gonna see the saddest looking elves? Uh-oh. GFI to try to complete the tackle zone screen and fails. There's not, well, to be fair, there's not a lot to talk about with Hero's actions here because he doesn't have options. He doesn't have players. How are we closing that square? Okay. Perhaps the initial cage was a little bit ambitious and he realized he couldn't close it, or he's just put this guy here to try to take this space. Yeah, we're just setting up to be in the way. I feel like we could have screened off this elf more completely from this side, but whatever. It's a push. Follow-up block is a knockdown. And it's a break. It's just a stun. Now, What do you do here? I think you just stay down. I don't see how you can actually get in the way anymore. Hero trying to work his 4 remaining players. Dives in. That would be, what, a 6+? 2+ minus 4, yeah. 6+ dive into a red die, cage dive because of guard. Yeah, Hero just is out of options. Now, I would like to remind everyone that wasn't here for the start that after this game concludes, I will be picking up the replay of the previous game that did not get cast. Because as far as I'm aware, they didn't tell anyone they were playing. So the only perspectives are their streams. Closing out the cage. Please tell me you close the square. You are gonna close that square, right? Okay, thank you. It's making me nervous. Did the replays get fixed? Were the replays broken? Because it wasn't that long ago that I was casting replays. No knockdown. Does move the remaining standing elf too far away to do anything. So this is the last turn for Hero. Perhaps we'll see a YOLO dive, because what else is he gonna do? Okay, so we'll see if the replays work. If the replays work, I will cast it. If they don't work, well, then they don't work. Hero appears to be considering his options. I don't know what options he's considering. Here comes his YOLO cage dive. We make it in. It is unfortunately not a knockdown. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. If he forced the push, it would force a triple red, I think. Yeah. No reason to take that risk, even if it would be funny, though. So, now we just take the punch with this dwarf blocker. Because there's no reason to take the frenzy hit. Because if you take the frenzy hit, you're giving yourself 2 chances to roll double skulls. Oh, that's a fail. Can we get players down here to matter? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? So yes, we can make this a 3 die. And now you hit with the non-frenzy piece for this. Yep, and we get the push, so we are now clear. And now we score. Yep, there we go. So, that is a 2-1 win for the Dwarves. Congratulations to Warhawk, and commiserations to Hero Tiscara. We're back at this, because of course we are. Because why would I want to look at the results screen of that game? Because it was live. Thank you, Cyanide. Let's see, is there a way for me to look at that without spoiling what happens with the next game? MVPs are not particularly great. Of course it feels dirty, because that was dirty. A 31% armor value for the Dark Elves is a bit rough. Although then again, it's 36% for the Dwarves. Everyone's armor was literal paper, apparently. Other than that, the results were almost exactly what you would expect, except the pickups were 50% on each side. Now, the winner of this game, in this case the Dwarf team, will be going on to face Luminous in the Pastry Pests, rather. So I suppose I should say commiserations to Warecaster as well. To be honest with you, I don't know how the armor value statistics work anymore, because it feels like they change how they work and they never make sense to my brain. But regardless, those numbers don't look good. So is it now a failure to break armor as opposed to is it now a failure to break your opponent's armor? Okay. So it now makes sense. In which case, these stats are actually not that bad for either team, except for the fact that anytime the Dark Elves' armor broke, they just got removed. That is good to know.